Welcome to a special end-of-year episode of Reclaiming Home, Housing Justice with Urban Homeworks. Today, here our amazing staff members reflect on their hard work in 2023. I'm proud, so proud to work with this team and even more proud of everything we have accomplished this year. If you want to support our work in 2024, please make a donation at www.urbanhomeworks.org/donate. You know the drill. We cannot get this work done without you. So if you value our work in the community, if you value this podcast, please consider making a donation. And with that, let's get into it.
Hello, I'm Ellen DeYoung. I am the Institutional Relations Manager at Urban Homeworks.
Hi, I'm Emily Lassiter, and I am the Senior Development Officer at Urban Homeworks on the Marketing and Development team.
Hello, I'm Paul Vleen, he, him. I am the Development Director for Urban Homeworks, getting to work in marketing, communications, and fundraising.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Herrick. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Communications Manager here at Urban Homeworks.
What accomplishment from 2023 are you most proud of?
What accomplishment from 2023 am I most proud of? First, some context. I started at Urban Homeworks in late 2022. So I feel like I really spent like the first half of 2023 kind of figuring out my role in the organization, my job duties, basically the landscape of institutional relations as it related to Urban Homeworks. So now, about a year later, I can honestly say that I'm proud of all that I have accomplished in the past year, calendar year, also just from the year that I started. I was really able to take ownership over grant writing and processes. And I also helped secure the organization some sizable gifts and also pursuing some smaller opportunities that the team might not have had the capacity to do before I was on board.
The accomplishment from 2023 that I'm most proud of is that we hosted a lot of smaller events to connect with different groups in our community and to bring those who financially invest in our work a little bit closer to the real stories that we create together. So for example, you might have heard this story last year of how we got a house donated to us at the very end of 2021. And then all throughout 2022, we were remodeling this old house up on Vincent Avenue North. And then when we completed that earlier this year in 2023, we held an open house at that space so that supporters and neighbors and community could come through and see the work that Urban Homeworks was doing and kind of envision the house that a family would receive. And then shortly after that open house, we sold it and got to actually share that story of the homeowner, Amber, who bought that house. She was a first-time buyer, and she shared her story at Perpetuate the Hope in October. And so, yeah, that was just really a full circle moment there that demonstrated why we all show up for this work together.
I would say that one of the accomplishments, actually, there's just so many accomplishments in 2023 that I'm proud of, that I've seen our teams work on. Certainly one of the exciting for our team in marketing development is updating our mission, vision, and values, really to hone in on what it is that we're trying to accomplish as an organization, while also broadening the table of who is a part of this community helping us accomplish that work. And so having a mission that is specifically focused in housing justice and leading the fight for housing justice is exciting. And then also to have it be a mission and vision that residents and homeowners and congregations and public officials and all people can rally around, recognizing that housing justice is something that we can all work toward for all of our neighbors, is a pretty exciting step for the organization in clarifying our work. And then certainly, we started a down payment assistance program called Homeownership Access Fund, which is super exciting. We've already given out 2 of those grants to new BIPOC homeowners here in Northside. And our goal is to continue to grow that fund so that we are giving away 20 of those grants. So 20 grants at $20,000 a piece is going to do some incredible work here on the north side and throughout Minneapolis, and just really excited to see that flourish and grow. And then, of course, we secured $5 million from the state legislature, not for Urban Homeworks, but to be used through Urban Homeworks to accomplish our mission and vision of homeownership, affordable homeownership opportunities here on the north side. And all of those have incredible implications for what we do in 2024 and beyond. One of the things that are important to think about with that $5 million for Northside deeply affordable housing is that is money that is going toward the bricks and mortar of the homes that we're building. It does not go toward staffing. It does not go toward all of the systems and processes that Urban Homeworks needs to put together in order to make the very most of that $5 million. So there's a lot of work that we have to do, that our donors have to step up and really make the most of that money, so that Urban Homeworks can implement it as best as possible for the benefit of our neighbors. And it's in a really exciting time of growth for the organization, for our donor community, to be able to respond to this really incredible opportunity to invest in Northside, to invest in homeownership, to invest in housing justice for our neighbors.
The accomplishment from 2023 that I am the most proud of is our Housing is a Human Right line of merch. We have t-shirts, we have stickers, and we have pins. And all three of those things I hand drew. The second accomplishment I'm the most proud of from 2023 is this podcast.
What was the most challenging part of 2023? Be honest. And how will it shape 2024 for you?
So related to what I'm most proud of, I would basically say the same thing about what was most challenging in 2023. There was a lot to figure out about my role at Urban Homeworks. And there are so many fast moving developments in the past year, like the direct appropriation from the legislature or the down payment assistance fund, just so many moving parts. And it was really difficult for me as a newbie to keep up with everything. That's honestly an amazing problem to have, and really speaks to the amazing work of all of my coworkers in the various departments who are constantly pivoting to meet the needs of the community. But looking ahead to 2024, I think this challenge really taught me about how to collaborate with my coworkers in an effective way, how to ask the right kinds of questions and at the right moments. And also that I really need to pay attention to every conversation that's happening around me, because every little update or tidbit that's shared with me can often be weaved into a grant proposal or into a story that can be shared with an institution, a contact, anyone who is kind of in my portfolio.
The most challenging part of 2023, I think our work is extremely demanding due to the overwhelming need. And that is coupled with our limitations around what we can accomplish with our small staff and the resources we have. And it's always tough when you see all the ways that we could solve something together. But transformative change is slow and persistent. And so it's really easy to feel impatient in our work. I think that will shape 2024 in that we know we've seen the progress. We get to witness it through stories like Amber's that we share. And those stories let us know that we're doing the right thing. We need to keep at it and persist in our work and tackle those big system issues while we're also meeting that immediate need, and that there's a lot of value in what we do.
One of the most challenging parts of 2023, particularly in the world of fundraising and development, and we're hearing this from nonprofits across the region, is just an understanding that the economy seems to be doing really well, and jobs are doing really well, and inflation is finally starting to go down. And yet there really is a lot of nervousness across our donor base and just across the public square about where is the economy going. And so people understandably are trying to figure out how to use their resources as wisely as possible, as they always should be doing. But that also is meaning that they are stepping back from really making bold gifts and investments in this work. And that's challenging when we have such huge disparities, when we have such incredible work that needs to get done, that's rooted in decades, if not generations of divestment from our neighbors, continually encouraging individuals to see the opportunities, the wealth, the potential for change from their gifts of all sizes. Has continued to be a challenge in 2023. It likely isn't going to go away, but it is part of the work of really being able to connect people's values to what Urban Homeworks is doing, to see if we are aligned in our goals and in our vision, and if so, to really be bold and to recognize that that this is a pretty incredible moment, and we can really make the most of it by investing our time, our financial resources, our voice to the legislative process. Now's the time to do it.
The most challenging part of 2023 for me is honestly what I think will continue to be the most challenging. And it's just like a major part of my role that I think I get used to. So I run all of our social media. I'm the producer and editor for this podcast. I've never actually sat here and been the one speaking into the microphone. I'm normally right off screen over there taking notes and producing. And, I write our stuff, our design our stuff, and all of that stuff is very public facing, but I'm not public facing. And I'll be honest, I'm very fine with that. I think that's okay. But because of that, I don't always see how people receive my work. So I know that people like this post on Instagram, or I can see what they comment, but most often I'm speaking out or speaking at, and I don't always hear a response in the things that I'm saying. I'm creating a document and you're going to read it, but you're likely going to talk to someone else on the team about a donation you'd like to make because you read that, or housing you'd like to try because you read that. You're not necessarily speaking to me. So I think that is one of the challenging parts of my work, is kind of like the one-way communication that it consists of. But I don't know that it's an impossible challenge, if that makes sense. I think with the accomplishment I shared in the first question, I find things that people do respond to, and I really relish in the celebrations of those moments.
What is your favorite 2023 Urban Homeworks memory?
So my favorite Urban Homeworks memory in 2023 is probably the first BIPOC think tank. So for some context, this summer Urban Homeworks hosted 3 different events called BIPOC think tanks for BIPOC leaders within our community. It kind of combined a day of volunteering with also discussions about what housing justice could look like for folks within these different organizations, and basically for the Twin Cities as a whole. I was not at all part of the planning. I was only there to support the day of, but it was put together by our amazing equity and engagement team. And I could just tell walking in right away that there was so much intention and care, and all of the participants could feel that as well. Even when they were, painting out in the hot sun or learning how to use power tools, there was such a communal, caring feeling between everyone, staff and leaders, BIPOC leaders alike. And that was really infused into the conversations about housing justice later in the day.
My favorite Urban Homeworks memory in 2023 was our staff retreat at Charleston Meadows in October. It was really fun to be silly and get to know staff members on a personal basis. And also we worked really hard on casting visions together and having really deep conversations around how we do this work together. And it was just a really meaningful time as a staff.
Some of the favorite memories that I have for Urban Homeworks as I look back on this past year actually rest in the different events and engagement activities that we've had this year. Probably is not a surprise. I love getting together with folks. It's one of my favorite parts of this job, and to be able to see people come together for the groundbreaking that we did on our passive certified home, our first passive certified out of 5. Even though it was just blistering hot, people came out and just celebrated this fantastic investment, not just in affordable home ownership, but in incredible efficiency that's going to save neighbors, the owners of those homes, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every year. Then there was the open house that we did. We're of course in this beautiful new building for 927, having the open house for 927 West Broadway, seeing donors and community partners and institutional partners come here and celebrate this beautiful investment along Broadway and how we are living out this mission and vision right here on the north side was just a joy. And then we did some really unique events this past year. And so the Urban Homeworks Trivia Night was certainly a fun time. It was laid back. It was a different vibe of what we've done in the past. And it was really enjoyable. And people loved being able to come together in community to test our knowledge of all things trivia, but also really recognize that we need to be wise and aware of the really important facts of the housing crisis. And we can do that in ways that are meaningful and fun and really move us as a community to better understand the issues.
My favorite memory from 2023, and I know it's been said already because I've done all the interviews, is the staff retreat. It was something that I was really anxious about. Like, you're spending 3 days, like, decently far out of town with these people that you are working with all the time, but like you're working with 9 to 5, and then you go home and you get to put on pajamas and be whatever. You get to be the non-working version of yourself. So to go into a space where you're sharing both the working version of yourself and the non-working of your version of yourself is like really vulnerable. And so I didn't know how it was going to go. Like, I didn't know. And so for all of us to be there and not hate each other after spending 72 hours straight is crazy. Really, at the end of this retreat, I felt so refreshed from the conversations that we had about our work, the conversations that we had about each other, like the rumbles that we had to clear up things that needed to be cleared up, to talk about things that needed to be discussed. I just felt coming back to work like so trusting in everyone as my coworker, trusting in everyone as my teammate, and then just like trusting in everyone on a level as like a friend, as someone that you had spent time with, gotten to know, watched a bad movie with, you know?
What surprised you about 2023, if anything?
I think the legislative session probably surprised basically everyone this year. We started the year with basically no intention of crafting our own bill or being nearly as involved as we were. And now we've gotten $5 million from the state to build more affordable homes. And that is just mind-boggling. A year ago, I think if you had asked any of us if that was even a possibility, we would have said no. And that also got us so much more publicity than we expected a year ago, more of a public image. And it really feels like Urban Homeworks is building some exciting momentum for growth in the year to come and for many years into the future.
Urban Homeworks has always accomplished a lot as a really small organization, and each year we seem to outdo ourselves. I would say this year we did a really exceptional job of celebrating all of our victories, big and small, but it does really feel like a significant year in that this is the first time that we've really tackled policy work and saw incredible engagement from legislators and from the housing surplus and the direct appropriation that we received. There was just a lot that Urban Homeworks really felt like Urban Homeworks was really noticed. And we're such a small organization, and there's a lot of great organizations doing housing work, but it feels like people really saw us for who we are and what we're trying to do and the way that we're trying to do it. And that felt very significant this year.
in thinking about what most surprised me in 2023, I think one of the things that has come to my mind is that we often talk at Urban Homeworks about systems change and working with policy in order to create a more just community, to advance housing justice. And one of the ways that we have done that is we recognize that it's not only done through voting, it's not only done through talking at the legislature. There is work to be done to change the narrative of what housing is in our community. And so we've had this wonderful campaign that we've included on shirts and stickers and pins called Housing is a Human Right, just simply naming housing is a human right, as we seek to change the narrative of what our requirements are as a community, what our obligations are to our neighbors in the world of housing. And I've been most surprised at how many people really align with that message and really get excited by that message. People that I just never would have expected, having friends and family say, can I have one of those shirts? I'm like super excited about sharing that shirt, seeing elected officials promote that message, and just recognize again that it's not just about speaking at the legislature, but it's also about winning over the hearts and minds of individuals, recognizing their role and responsibility in this mission. And that's just been a really fun and exciting and surprising development this past year.
What are you most looking forward to in 2024?
In 2024, I'm most looking forward to building on the momentum from this past year. It seems like there's just so much excitement, both internally and externally, from public and private funders about what Urban Homeworks is up to, has been up to. And there's also just a lot more awareness of systemic issues that led to the housing crisis and inequities in our community in the first place. So we have some really big, kind of daunting goals next year. Daunting, but also exciting. So there's a lot to look forward to.
What I'm most looking forward to in 2024 is really seeing relationships among communities strengthened and building new connections with people in our broader community who are really passionate about loving others and helping heal the world through collective action.
So what I'm looking forward to most in 2024 stems from a lot of the work that we're already doing in 2023. We've broken ground on 5 just uber efficient homeownership options here in North Minneapolis. We are breaking ground on 3 cooperative homes. We're going to be selling 8 homes in 2024. That's incredible. To be able to start the homeownership journey for 8 new families is amazing, and is a level of development that Urban Homeworks hasn't seen in many, many years. We're building out our homeownership pathways program, really creating increased opportunities for our renters to become homeowners if they so desire, and building this connection between our dignified rental program and our homeownership program in a way that we just never have done before. Recognizing that takes staff, and that a lot of the work that we're doing in 2024 is an expansion of our work, and that takes staff time. We are growing our staff by 25% in 2024, which is huge growth, but it's not just about having more bodies in the office. Every one of those staff expands our ability to do our mission, to accomplish our vision, to really expand the ways that we are able to lead the fight for housing justice. And I'm really excited to meet those new staff, to partner with them as part of this team, and to really see what Urban Homeworks is able to accomplish in 2024 and beyond.
In 2024, I am most looking forward to continuing our work with NACA Creative. As some of you may know, we partnered with NACA Creative to get a new mission, vision, and values throughout 2023. That was a huge project I was working on with other members of the Urban Homeworks team, and we were able to launch that and share that. And I don't know if I can share what we're working on now, but what I will say is that I'm really looking forward to continuing that work in 2024 with NACA. It's been really emotional in different ways to work with an outside consultant, especially around the idea of branding and brand persona, which is something that I'm working on every day, but I don't always get to take the time to like really evaluate and look at. And so in this partnership to kind of share with them, you know, here's how the staff feels about the work that we do, and here's how we talk about it. And then for them to talk to residents and donors and hear how they feel about it, our work and how they talk about it, and then to take all of those responses and put it together into one sort of language document that aligned with what the staff had said from the start just was really reaffirming, because I have an idea of myself, of course, but that's because I am myself. That doesn't mean that's how other people see me. So to have ourself, Urban Homeworks, like the community that makes it up, the staff, the residents, the donors, see it so similarly, especially in a time in a world and society where things are nothing is viewed similarly. It was really sweet, and it was really affirming, and it was really powerful to the work that we do, to see that we all appreciate it and understand how important it is and are in a way fulfilled by it. Like, we want to see Urban Homework succeed. We want to see people who buy our home succeed. We want to see our residents succeed from the top to the bottom. And I think that's rare. So that's what I'm most looking forward to in 2024, is working more on who are we externally and making sure that aligns with who we are internally.